Hey, I hope you're doing good. It's Chris here from Strum Fingerpicking, and in this lesson we're going to learn 8 different ways to strum without using a pick. Okay, so these strums, they gradually kind of get harder as they go along. So we're going to start really basic, and then the first one is just strumming using your thumb. So you can hold down any chord that you want to, chord progression, and you just take the flesh of your thumb and you can strum. So on a G chord, just really lightly down, using your thumb, so it's quite self-explanatory. Just down with the thumb. You can, of course, you can strum up as well. And this is probably the way that if you're really new to the guitar, you pick it up naturally. You'd probably just start using your thumb to strum the strings. So down and up using the thumb. And I actually really like this strum because it's really soft. It's really good for really sort of kind of folky, nice singer-songwriter strummy songs. So it's really delicate. You're not really using much of the nail, just the flesh and the side of your thumb. Really good for gentle stuff. So that's the first one. Let's move on to the second one. So the second strum is using your fingers here. So you can use the nails of your fingers. If you don't have fingernails, don't use your fingernails. Just use the flesh and tips of your fingers, and you can strum down, and then you can also strum back up as well. So on just a G chord. I'm kind of use my index and middle finger. Sometimes I might throw the third finger in there as well. But down and up using those 1, 2, 3 fingers. It's not one I actually use a whole lot, but it's quite good. It's kind of a little bit brighter than just using your thumb. So it's the next step up. So you've done your thumb and then your fingers, just down and up. Okay, so the third way that I'm going to show you, you're going to pretend that you're holding a pick. Actually, if I pick up a pick, I've got one right here. If you hold that, as you normally would, if you're used to holding a pick, you can take that, and then, so it's between your thumb and your index finger. If you pull that out, but keep your fingers in place as if you were still holding a pick, now your finger's sticking out a little bit here, you can simply use that to strum. So you can't even tell that I'm not holding a pick there. From there, I can go right ahead. And strum, and that will probably feel quite natural to you, and it's certainly one that I do quite a lot because I'm so used to holding a pick. When I first started playing fingerstyle, that is how I'd really strum. That was my go-to strum, and I still do it a lot today. So it's a really good one. So pretend you're holding the pick, you pull the pick out, your index finger's sticking out a little bit, and you can strum really well with a lot of attack. Okay, so the fourth way is down with the thumb, and then up with your first finger, your second finger, maybe even your third finger too. Down with the thumb and up. Okay, so something like. And again, that's another really soft, gentle one. So you're not just using your thumb, you've got the flesh of your first finger coming up as well. So it may feel a little bit peculiar that, but it's actually really nice. Lots of people do it. And again, great for singer-songwriter, solo guitarists having a sing-song. So a really useful one there. Okay, so we're going to reverse it now for number 5. So last time we played down with the thumb and up with the first finger. This time we're playing down with your first finger, your second finger, maybe even your third finger too, like this. And then up with the thumb. And this is very, very popular. Lots of people favour this one the most out of all of these strums. So as I say, you might want to keep your fingers together. See, my thumb is touching the index finger there. Down and then up. Down with the fingers, up with the thumb. And it's good because you can really relax your wrist and just go down, up. It's kind of similar to having your fingers sticking out like that. So that's a really very, very popular one. Stick it on some simple chords. And you're away. So once more, down with the fingers, up with the thumb, you're good to go. Practice it round and round and round. Okay, so for number 6, we're going to take things up a level, and if you're used to playing with a pick, you may have done this before, but it's really, really very popular whether you play electric guitar or acoustic guitar, and it's not just solid strumming anymore. Now we're going to get a little bit more advanced, and we're going to play the bass note of the chord as well. And the way that we're going to do that in fingerstyle is if we hold down, just a G chord, you might play the bass, and then up, down, up. So you play the bass with your thumb, and then up, down, up, or whatever strum pattern you want to do after that. But let's just stick with that because it's nice and simple. The bass, the root note of the chord, and then up, down, up, using your first or your first and your second finger. And this is something that guitar players, we do all the time. And it's really good because once you get comfortable with that and your thumb's consistently hitting the right bass note, you can start moving that bass note around. Oop. So that's an incredibly useful one. Bass note, up, down, up. Or whatever strum pattern you know and feels good to you. Alright, so if you're okay with that, you can keep growing and building upon that even more. And the next thing that I recommend doing is to hold down a G chord, keep this going, but also at the same time you can start pulling out some of these strings using your index finger, your first finger, your third finger, to get some more melodic lines going on. So I could hold down a C and have this thing, I'm playing the bass, but I could also start adding in some of these notes here, so something more like this. So something like that. So what am I doing there? I've still got this going on, but as I say, I'm pulling out some of the more melodic notes, some of the higher notes, some of the higher strings. So for instance, I could play the bass note and I could play the high E string on a C chord together, and then I could just strum. Move to an A minor chord. Yeah? And then if you build upon that, and it's really great for people like me that write acoustic instrumental music because it allows you to create melodies on top of your chord. So start by playing a G chord perhaps and playing the 2 E strings together, up, down, up. And then start playing the B string with the low E string. And then start taking notes from inside the scale, and you can get really musical with it. So all I've done is added some of the notes in from the chord on top of the strum that we did in lesson 5. Much more complicated, but do work on it because it's simply brilliant. Okay, so this last technique that we're going to look at is this Flamenco Triplet, this rasgueo. I think that it's called. I'm not a flamenco player. My technique is nowhere near as good as people that are true flamenco players. But this is just a bit of fun, and it's something that I do use because it sounds so great. I think everybody agrees with that. It's a beautiful technique. So if you want to practice it, go ahead, but this is one way to strum without a pick that's very popular and sounds amazing, requires a lot of work, but broken down it's actually very simple. It's just 3 movements. So in your right hand, your strumming hand, you want to strum down using your second finger and your third finger, like that. You can use, so everyone's kind of different, people do it differently, maybe just one finger, but this is how I do it. These 2 fingers right here, strum down, and then you follow through by strumming with your thumb. 1, 2, and then you strum up with your thumb, and that's it. Down, down, up. Down with the second and third finger, down with the thumb, and then up with the thumb. That's it. Triplet, 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 twirl it until you can do it round and round and round and round. And obviously it's really good at the end of a song, big crescendo, and you just spin it round. But honestly, it takes a lot of work. You know, thousands and thousands of times you're going to have to do it probably before you can get it to go round and round like that. And you know, I'm really no master at it at all, but it took me a long time just to get it to where it is right now. But it's great fun. So have some fun with that. 3 simple movements that need to be repeated tens of thousands of times. But let's leave it there. Okay, so I'd like to finish up by letting you know that it's now possible to try all of my courses for free. All you've got to do is sign up to my mailing list by clicking this link up here or down in the description, and you can sign up and you can try one or all of my courses out for free. So take advantage of that, and I'll see you on the next lesson. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.